My chosen one, this message had to fight its way through storms to reach you. Read that again in your spirit. Heaven moved pieces. Delays were shattered. Invisible resistance was confronted. And now, at this exact moment, you are not here by accident. God broke every block that stopped this message from reaching you. Archangel Michael says it's finally here. This was always yours. Don't miss it now. There were forces that tried to silence this. There were distractions assigned to you this week. There were sudden thoughts telling you to scroll away. But something stronger held you here. That was not coincidence. That was divine intervention. Archangel Michael stands in authority and declares, what was delayed is no longer denied. You thought it was rejection. You thought it was bad timing. You thought you were forgotten. But heaven says it was protection. What you were about to step into months ago would have drained you. The opportunity you cried over would have trapped you. The connection you begged God to restore would have distracted you from what truly belonged to you. And now the real thing is here. Listen carefully. There was a spiritual blockade around your breakthrough. Not because you were unworthy. Not because you lacked faith. But because the timing was sacred. The blessing had to mature. You had to grow into it. Archangel Michael reveals that certain doors were sealed until your spirit was strong enough to carry what was always yours. Do you understand what that means? It means you were not behind. You were being prepared. The delay was not punishment. It was training. And here's the shocking truth. The very thing you almost gave up praying for is the same thing heaven preserved for you. You stopped asking because you got tired. You stopped expecting because you were disappointed. But God never stopped preparing. Right now, something has shifted in the unseen realm. Barriers have collapsed. Confusion has cleared. And clarity is entering your life like morning light after a long night. Archangel Michael speaks with precision. The resistance is broken. What belongs to you can now approach you. That was always yours. Not borrowed. Not temporary. Not accidental. Yours. But here's the warning, and you must hear this carefully. When blessings finally arrive after long delays, many people sabotage them because they are still thinking like the old version of themselves. You prayed for increase, but are you ready to think bigger? You asked for stability, but are you ready to let go of chaos? You wanted elevation, but are you prepared to release old habits? The message reached you now because you are at a decision point. Heaven has removed the external blocks. Now you must remove the internal ones. Fear, self-doubt, overthinking, attachment to what did not work. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian over what is being released to you. But he will not force you to receive it. Divine gifts require alignment. There is something specific headed toward you. An opportunity, a conversation, an open door, a divine connection. And when it appears, it may look ordinary at first. That is the test. Will you recognize what you prayed for when it no longer looks dramatic? The enemy of your destiny was delay. But delay has expired. Feel this in your spirit. Something that felt stuck is about to move quickly. Faster than you expect. Faster than you feel ready for. And that is why this message fought to reach you before the shift happens. Preparation always comes before manifestation. You are not watching this randomly. You were positioned here because heaven knew the exact hour your mindset needed to change. Archangel Michael says, stand firm. Do not hesitate when the sign appears. The sign will not come with thunder. It will come with clarity. You will suddenly feel peace about something that once confused you. You will suddenly feel bold about something that once scared you. You will suddenly lose interest in what once drained you. That is confirmation. Let me tell you something even deeper. The blocks that were removed were not just external circumstances. Some were people. Some were conversations that never happened. Some were plans that mysteriously failed. You called it disappointment. God called it redirection. And now that the path is clear, what was assigned to you can travel without interference. This was always yours. Not because you demanded it. Not because you deserved it. But because it was written for you before you even understood the journey. Here is a divine timing window opening. It will not stay open forever. That is why this message says, do not miss it now. Missing it does not mean it disappears forever. It means it cycles back later with more lessons attached. Why go through another cycle when you can step into it now? Archangel Michael declares protection over your decision. Fear will try to whisper. Old memories will try to discourage. But you must move differently this time. You are not who you were when the delay began. You are stronger. You are wiser. You are spiritually sharper. And the moment you shift your belief from maybe someday to it is finally here, you activate alignment. Something has already started moving toward you. You cannot see it yet, but you will feel it. A sudden calm, an unusual confidence, an unexpected opening. When it appears, remember this moment. Remember that heaven broke every block just to make sure you were ready. Now take a deep breath. This was never lost. It was guarded, and now it has arrived. Beloved soul, what you are about to understand now will change the way you see every delay you have ever experienced. When God broke every block that stopped this message from reaching you, it was not only about information. It was about activation. Archangel Michael did not step into spiritual battle just so you could feel inspired for a few minutes. He intervened because a shift has been authorized over your life, and timing is everything. There were conversations about you in the unseen realm. Decisions were made concerning your future. Certain outcomes were reviewed, adjusted, and aligned with your destiny. And while you were going about your daily routine, wondering why nothing seemed to move, heaven was finalizing details. You must understand this clearly. What is finally here did not appear overnight. It has been building quietly behind the scenes. The reason you felt restless lately is because your spirit sensed the approach. The reason old cycles started breaking without you forcing them is because the expiration date had passed. The reason certain people became distant is because their role in your life had ended. This was always yours, but ownership requires readiness. Archangel Michael says something powerful to you right now. What was withheld has now been released, but you must step forward to meet it. That means passivity will not serve you anymore. You cannot wait for everything to feel perfect. You cannot demand full clarity before taking one step of faith. The blessing is moving toward you, but you must also move toward it. Here is what most people miss. When blocks are broken, there is often a brief moment of silence before movement begins. It feels almost too calm. You might even question whether anything is happening at all. But that calm is sacred. It is the breath before acceleration. Do not misinterpret peace as inactivity. Your breakthrough may not announce itself loudly. It may begin as a simple idea, a small opportunity, a thought that refuses to leave your mind, a sudden courage to apply, to speak, to start, to respond. That is how divine alignment works. Archangel Michael is not only clearing the path, he is strengthening your discernment. You will notice you are less confused than before, less emotionally reactive, more observant. That clarity is protection. However, there is a warning wrapped inside this blessing. When what is yours begins to manifest, distractions will try one last time to pull you sideways. Old habits will attempt to resurface. Doubt will whisper, what if this fails? Familiar patterns will try to feel comfortable again. This is the final test of alignment. The blocks outside of you have been broken. And now the only remaining question is whether you will break agreement with the mindset that once limited you. Do not return to environments that shrink you. Do not reopen doors that have been closed. Do not entertain fears that were already defeated. This moment is sensitive. It is sacred. It is strategic. And I need you to hear this carefully. Some of you have been praying for a sign. This is it. Not fireworks, not dramatic events, but confirmation in your spirit. A knowing, a recognition that something has shifted. The fact that this message reached you after all resistance confirms that you are positioned for something significant. If this is resonating with your spirit right now, take a moment to engage with this word. Like this video so the message spreads to others who are waiting for their blocks to break. Share it with someone who hath been stuck in delay. Comment what you are believing for. Subscribe and become part of this growing movement. When you support this channel, you help amplify prophetic messages that are meant to awaken and prepare thousands. Join the membership if you feel led to go deeper. Because what happens next is not random. There is a door preparing to open. But doors do not force themselves on anyone. You will recognize it by the peace that comes with it. Even if it stretches you, even if it challenges you, even if it requires courage. Archangel Michael says, walk through without hesitation. You have hesitated before. You have second-guessed divine timing before. You have allowed fear to talk you out of what belonged to you before. This time must be different. The blessing that is finally here carries weight. It carries responsibility. It carries expansion. And that is why it was delayed until now. You are not the same person who prayed that first prayer. You have endured. You have matured. You have survived battles no one even knows about. That endurance qualified you. Something is aligning faster than you expect. You may receive news sooner than planned. You may notice sudden favor in a situation that once felt closed. You may feel a boldness rising that surprises even you. When it happens, remember this moment. Remember that God broke every block to make sure you were not biased. Remember that Archangel Michael stood guard over what was always yours. And most importantly, remember that readiness is your responsibility now. Hold steady. What is approaching carries divine fingerprints. And what comes next will reveal why every delay was necessary. Continue forward, because the revelation deepens from here. Faithful heart, there is a reason your spirit feels alert right now. It is not anxiety. It is not pressure. It is awareness. Something that has had your name on it for a long time is stepping into your present moment. And Archangel Michael is making it clear. The waiting season has served its purpose. You were not delayed because you lacked favor. You were delayed because what was assigned to you required strength. There were hidden cracks in your foundation that had to be repaired. There were emotional ties that had to be loosened. There were expectations that had to be purified. If the blessing had arrived earlier, you would have celebrated it, yes, but you would not have sustained it. Heaven does not release permanent gifts into temporary mindsets. This is why God broke every block that stopped this message from reaching you. The final resistance was not just external forces. It was the last layer of doubt inside you, The last whisper that said, maybe this is not for me. The last fear that told you, people like you do not receive things like that. Archangel Michael stands as a defender of divine inheritance, and he declares that what is finally here is not a random reward, it is covenant fulfillment. You have carried promises in your heart for years. Some of them you shared with people who did not understand. Some of them you stopped talking about because silence felt safer than disappointment. But heaven never erased them. There is something sacred about this timing. Notice how certain battles suddenly stopped draining you. Notice how some conflicts resolved themselves without your effort. Notice how your desire for chaos diminished. That was preparation, because what is yours requires peace to maintain it. Let this sink in deeply. The blessing approaching you is not just about increase. It is about restoration. Something that felt stolen by time is being returned in a refined form. Something that felt lost in a past season is being restored with wisdom attached. Archangel Michael says, the sword was drawn to defend what belongs to you. Now the path is clear, but clarity demands courage. You may feel tempted to question why it is happening now. You may wonder why the door did not open last year. You may revisit memories of tears and confusion. Do not let the past distort your present alignment. A delay builds discernment in you. You are not as easily impressed anymore. You are not as easily manipulated. You do not chase illusions the way you once did. That growth is the reason this moment is safe for you. There is also something else you must understand. When God breaks blocks, the release often feels sudden. One day it feels silent. The next day it feels like movement everywhere. Opportunities appear. Conversations shift. People respond differently to you. Do not panic when acceleration begins. You ask for breakthrough. Breakthrough moves fast once resistance collapses. Archangel Michael urges you to remain steady. Stay grounded in prayer. Stay anchored in gratitude. Stay attentive to subtle instructions in your spirit. Because what is here now was always written into your destiny. This was never about proving yourself. It was about aligning yourself. And alignment sometimes requires separation. Some people could not come into this next chapter with you. Not because they were bad, but because their assignment in your life was complete. Holding on to them would have slowed what was meant to flow freely now. You may have felt lonely during that transition. You may have questioned why circles change. But heaven was making room. Room for expansion. Room for clarity. Room for divine timing. Now, as this message settles into your heart, receive this truth. You are not behind schedule. You are right on time. Archangel Michael speaks firmly. Do not shrink when the door opens. Step forward with authority. You are not begging for this blessing. You are stepping into what was already decreed. And here is the final revelation for this moment. The reason this message fought so hard to reach you is because hesitation could cost you momentum. When the opportunity presents itself, move. When the confirmation arrives, respond. When peace fills your spirit, trust it. Do not overanalyze what God has already confirmed. This was always yours. And now that every block has been shattered, you must receive it with boldness. Take this as your sacred instruction. Prepare your mind for increase. Prepare your heart for responsibility. Prepare your habits for elevation. Because what is finally here will not wait for fear to catch up. If this message confirms what your spirit hath been sensing, type "IT is mine" in the comments right now. Blessing code 3339 has just been released over your life. And hear this as a continuation of what God is doing. When you sow into a word that awakens you, you are planting seed into fertile ground. Scripture declares, "I will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing you cannot contain." That is not distant poetry. That is God speaking directly into moments like this. When you respond through super thanks, membership, with a PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are fueling a river of light that reaches souls who are still fighting through blocks. Say within yourself, "I am part of this harvest." As you give, see it as oil poured upon sacred ground, as fire carried forward into dark places. Those who sow in obedience will reap in acceleration. Activate your seed now and step into the flow of what heaven is multiplying through you. Anointed listener, now that the blocks have been broken and the release has been declared, there is something deeper unfolding beneath the surface of your life. This is not only about receiving what was always yours. It is about understanding why it was guarded so fiercely. Archangel Michael does not go to battle over small things. He defends assignments. He protects destiny. He stands watch over inheritances that carry impact beyond one person. The reason resistance surrounded your promise is because it was never meant to bless only you. It carries influence. It carries ripple effects. It carries transformation that will touch others through you. This is why the delay felt intense. There were moments you questioned your worth. Moments you wondered if you misheard God. Moments when silence felt heavier than rejection. But that silence was not absence. It was construction. While you were waiting, foundations were being reinforced. Character was being refined. Impatience was being softened into wisdom. You were being shaped into someone who can carry increase without collapsing under it. And now the shift is not theoretical. It is active. You may begin noticing subtle confirmations in your environment. People may treat you differently. Opportunities that once felt distant may suddenly feel accessible. Ideas may come to you with unusual clarity. These are not coincidences. They are signals. Archangel Michael says, "Observe carefully. What you prayed for is approaching in recognizable form." But here is where many stumble. When something finally arrives after a long wait, there is a temptation to cling to it tightly, almost fearfully, as if it could disappear again. That reaction comes from past disappointment. But what is being released now is not fragile. It survived delay. It survived resistance. It survived doubt. It is stable. You must shift from a survival mindset into a stewardship mindset. Instead of asking, "What if I lose this?" begin asking, "How can I honor this?" Honor changes everything. When you honor what God places in your hands, you protect it through gratitude and discipline. You stop taking it lightly. You stop speaking negatively about it. You stop inviting chaos into it. There is also another layer you must recognize. The enemy of your destiny tried to exhaust you before the breakthrough arrived. Fatigue was a weapon used against you. Discouragement was used to weaken your expectation. Isolation was used to make you doubt your calling. But you are still here. That means the strategy failed. Archangel Michael declares strength over your spirit now. The same endurance that carried you through delay will now carry you through expansion. Expansion requires energy. Do not enter this new chapter with old exhaustion. Rest when needed. Protect your peace. Guard your focus. What is coming will require clarity and intentional movement. Something significant is aligning in your professional life, your relationships, or your spiritual walk. You may not see the full picture yet, but you can feel the shift. It feels like standing at the edge of something new. Do not retreat. This is not the time to shrink back into comfort zones. Comfort kept you safe during waiting, but growth will require courage now. Archangel Michael speaks with urgency. Step into visibility. Some of you have been hiding your gifts. You minimize your voice because past environments did not celebrate it. You reduced your dreams because others projected their limitations onto you. That season is over. The blocks that prevented this message from reaching you were symbolic of larger barriers that have now collapsed. Spiritual interference has been cleared. The pathway is not crowded anymore. But understand this clearly. When clarity increases, responsibility increases too. You will begin to sense what to say yes to and what to decline. Discernment will sharpen. Pay attention to that inner check. Pay attention to that sudden peace. Pay attention to that subtle warning when something feels misaligned. You are not stepping into this blindly. Heaven has equipped you through every previous struggle. Look back for a moment and see how much stronger you are compared to a year ago. See how differently you react to pressure. See how much less approval you seek. A transformation was not random. It was preparation. And now what was always yours is close enough to require action. This is the turning point where intention becomes movement. Archangel Michael does not simply clear the way. He signals when it is time to advance. This is your signal. Do not delay your obedience. Do not postpone your courage. Do not talk yourself out of alignment. If a door opens, walk through it with gratitude. If a conversation presents itself, speak with confidence. If an idea ignites your spirit, pursue it with discipline. The release has already occurred in the unseen realm. Your response activates it in the visible one. Let this settle deeply within you. You are not chasing something uncertain. You are stepping into something ordained. And as you move forward, remember this truth. The same God who broke every block is the same God who will sustain every blessing. Archangel Michael stands not only as a warrior, but as a witness to your obedience. Continue with boldness, because the unfolding has only just begun. Precious one, there is a sacred tension in the air around you right now. It feels like anticipation mixed with responsibility. That is because you are no longer standing in the waiting room. You are standing at the entrance of fulfillment. And entrances require decisions. God did not break every block that stopped this message from reaching you just to inspire you for a moment. He did it because a transfer is happening. A shift of authority. A shift of access. A shift of positioning. Archangel Michael speaks with steady clarity. You are not approaching what is yours as a beggar. You are approaching it as an appointed heir. That mindset alone changes everything. For too long you questioned whether you deserved what you were praying for. You measured yourself against others. You replayed your mistakes. You allowed old labels to define your confidence. But heaven does not consult your past to determine your future. The delay you experienced was not a sign of denial. It was refinement. Refinement is uncomfortable because it strips away illusions. It reveals where you were settling. It exposes where you tolerated less than your calling. It forces you to confront parts of yourself that needed growth. And you grew. You may not have noticed it while it was happening. Growth rarely feels dramatic in the moment. It feels slow. It feels repetitive. It feels quiet. But now, as what was always yours begins to surface, you can see why those lessons were necessary. There were patterns that had to be broken before blessing could be sustained. There were emotional attachments that had to loosen before expansion could feel safe. There were internal narratives that had to be rewritten. Archangel Michael declares, the internal battle has shifted. The external manifestation follows. Do you see the order? First the unseen alignment, then the visible result. That is why this message feels urgent, not rushed, not chaotic, but urgent in the sense that timing is active. The window is open. There is something important you must guard against now. Complacency. After a long season of waiting, it is easy to become comfortable with delay. It becomes familiar. It becomes predictable. You learn how to survive in it. But when movement begins, survival habits can interfere with progress. Survival says, stay small so you do not attract attention. Alignment says, stand firm because you are covered. Survival says, do not risk disappointment again. Alignment says, trust the preparation that brought you here. You cannot carry old fear into a new season. The blessing approaching you requires boldness. It requires initiative. It requires you to step forward even if your voice shakes slightly. And here is something profound. What is finally here may not look exactly like what you imagined years ago. It may come in a refined form. It may appear through a different person, a different pathway, or a different timeline than you expected. Do not reject it because it looks different. God often answers prayers in upgraded versions. Archangel Michael urges you to discern essence, not appearance. Focus on the peace attached to it. Focus on the clarity it brings. Focus on the alignment in your spirit. There will be confirmation. You will feel a steadiness, a sense of rightness, a knowing that does not need external validation. But you must act. Action seals faith. Some of you will need to send a message. Some of you will need to apply for something you once thought was out of reach. Some of you will need to say yes where you previously hesitated. Some of you will need to release something that has overstayed its purpose. Movement creates momentum. Archangel Michael is not only protecting what is yours, he is empowering you to claim it without apology. Let go of the idea that you have to over-explain your growth to people who benefited from your insecurity. Let go of the need to justify your expansion. You are not responsible for making others comfortable with your elevation. This was always yours. And now that the blocks have been broken, the only barrier left is hesitation. Feel the shift in your spirit. It is subtle but undeniable. Something inside you feels ready. Ready to stop overthinking. Ready to stop shrinking. Ready to stop waiting for permission. That readiness is not pride. It is alignment. The same God who preserved this blessing through seasons of resistance is the same God who will sustain it through seasons of growth. Trust that. Archangel Michael stands at the threshold with you, not to push you, but to remind you that courage is already within you. This is not the beginning of struggle. It is the beginning of manifestation. And what unfolds next will confirm that every delay was building toward this exact moment. Continue forward with awareness, because the unfolding is becoming visible now. Chosen vessel, you can feel it now, can't you? The atmosphere around your life does not feel the same. The heaviness that once followed you has lifted. The confusion that once clouded your decisions has thinned out. This is not imagination. This is evidence that something has shifted permanently. When God broke every block that stopped this message from reaching you, it signaled the end of interference. But the end of interference is only the beginning of responsibility. Now that the resistance has been removed, your focus matters more than ever. Archangel Michael speaks with strength in this hour. Guard what is entering your life. What is finally here carries value. It carries divine intention. It carries potential that can multiply far beyond what you currently see. And whenever something carries multiplication, it must be protected from distraction. Distraction will not look dangerous. It will look familiar. It will look comfortable. It may even look harmless. But its assignment will be to divide your attention at the exact moment you need clarity. Be intentional with your time. Be intentional with your conversations. Be intentional with your thoughts. You prayed for this shift. Now steward it carefully. There is also something else happening beneath the surface. Confidence is rising in you, but it is not loud confidence. It is quiet certainty. You are no longer begging for signs. You are recognizing them. You are no longer chasing validation. You are trusting alignment. That is maturity. The person you were during the delay would have panicked at this level of opportunity. You would have questioned every step. You would have looked for reassurance from people who did not understand your calling. But now, there is a steadiness in you. Archangel Michael declares, stand firm in the ground that has been cleared for you. You do not need to rush. You do not need to force outcomes. What belongs to you will not require manipulation. It will respond to faith-filled action. At the same time, do not confuse patience with passivity. This is not a season to sit back and hope things arrange themselves. This is a season to move with intention when clarity appears. If an idea keeps returning to you, explore it. If a door opens slightly, test it. If a conversation aligns naturally, pursue it with wisdom. Momentum builds through obedience. Some of you are about to experience acceleration in areas that felt stagnant for years. It may happen in your career. It may happen in your relationships. It may happen in your spiritual influence. But when it begins, it may feel almost surreal. You will think, why now? And the answer will be simple. Because now you are ready. Archangel Michael has been guarding your growth. Every lesson you endured during the delay strengthened your capacity. You were not being ignored. You were being equipped. Now the equipment meets the opportunity. However, let me warn you with love. Do not announce everything too early. Not every blessing needs immediate broadcasting. Protect the early stages of what is unfolding. Allow it to root deeply before exposing it widely. Sacred things grow best in protected soil. As this movement increases in your life, stay anchored in gratitude. Gratitude keeps your heart aligned. Gratitude keeps pride away. Gratitude keeps your perspective clear. And if this message is speaking directly into your situation, take a moment right now to support this flow of revelation. Like this video so it reaches others who are still waiting for their blocks to break. Share it with someone who feels delayed. Comment what area of your life you are stepping forward in. Subscribe if you have not already, and join the membership to go deeper into these prophetic messages. When you engage, you help amplify words that awaken faith across nations. There is more unfolding, and you will want to stay attentive to what is coming next, because the shift intensifies from here. Back to you. The final layer of hesitation is dissolving. You may notice you are less tolerant of confusion. You may notice you are more decisive than before. A decisiveness is not impulsiveness. It is clarity. Archangel Michael says, walk as one who knows they are covered. Stop shrinking your voice. Stop delaying your steps. Stop waiting for universal approval. What was always yours is not asking for permission to exist in your life. It is waiting for your agreement. Agreement activates manifestation. When you internally say, yes, I receive this, something aligns externally. Doors that were uncertain become stable. Paths that were foggy become visible. But remember this truth. The same discipline that sustained you in waiting will sustain you in receiving. Keep your routines strong. Keep your prayer life consistent. Keep your integrity intact. You are not entering chaos. You are entering structure. And this structure will support growth you once thought was impossible. Trust the shift. Trust the preparation. Trust the protection that surrounded this promise until you were ready. Because now, readiness and opportunity are meeting at the same point. Continue forward. The unfolding is becoming undeniable. Steadfast soul, there comes a moment in every divine transition when reality begins to match revelation. You are entering that moment now. What was spoken in the unseen is starting to echo in your visible world. And you may feel both excitement and nervousness rising at the same time. That mixture is normal. Whenever destiny begins to manifest, it stretches you. It pulls you beyond the version of yourself that learned how to survive delay. You are no longer in survival mode. You are in alignment mode. God did not break every block that stopped this message from reaching you just to adjust your circumstances. He broke those blocks to adjust your position. You are being repositioned into rooms, conversations, and opportunities that match your spiritual growth. Archangel Michael speaks clearly in this hour. Do not apologize for the doors that open. You have spent too much time explaining yourself to people who misunderstood your process. You have minimized your calling to avoid appearing ambitious. You have downplayed your dreams to make others comfortable. The chapter is over. The blessing that is finally here requires visibility. It requires presence. It requires you to show up fully without shrinking. But hear this carefully. Visibility does not mean arrogance. Expansion does not mean pride. Growth does not mean forgetting humility. In fact, humility is what will keep your elevation stable. You are stepping into something that has layers. At first, it may look like a simple opportunity, but beneath it are connections, resources, and influence that will unfold gradually. You outrush the unfolding. Allow it to reveal itself step by step. Archangel Michael says, move forward with discernment, not haste. Just because blocks have been broken does not mean every option is yours to take. Freedom requires wisdom. You will have choices now. Choices you did not have before. And with choice comes responsibility. Pay attention to what aligns with peace. Peace will be your compass. If something excites you but disturbs your spirit, pause. If something stretches you but brings calm assurance, lean in. The difference between impulse and instruction is subtle, but your spirit can recognize it. You may also notice that some people react differently to your growth. Not everyone will celebrate your breakthrough. Some will become distant. Some will grow quiet. Some may subtly question your decisions. Do not interpret that as a sign to retreat. Growth exposes the difference between those who were assigned to walk with you long term and those who were assigned to walk with you temporarily. There is no need for resentment. Simply allow alignment to sort itself out. The path ahead of you is not crowded anymore. That is intentional. During the delay, you felt surrounded by noise, opinions, confusion, conflicting advice. Now, clarity is simplifying your environment. You are learning to value fewer but deeper connections. You are learning to prioritize purpose over popularity. Archangel Michael declares, the narrowing of your circle is protection, not punishment. As what was always yours continues to unfold, you must also guard your internal dialogue. The mind can try to replay old failures. It can try to remind you of past embarrassments. It can whisper that you might lose what you gain. Do not entertain those thoughts. The same God who preserved this blessing through seasons of silence is not going to withdraw it suddenly. Stability is part of this promise. However, Stability does not eliminate effort. You will need to show up consistently. You will need to commit. You will need to steward your time and energy with discipline. This is not a passive miracle. It is an active partnership. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to your obedience, not as a substitute for it. Something powerful is also happening within you. Your self-perception is changing. You are starting to see yourself as capable, as worthy, and prepared. That shift alone is evidence that the internal blocks have fallen. When you look back at the person you were during the early stages of delay, you will realize how much stronger you are now. The tears, the questions, the confusion, they all shape resilience. And resilience is the backbone of sustainability. The blessing that is finally here is not a short-term relief. It is a long-term alignment. It is not here to impress others. It is here to establish you. Establish you in confidence. Establish you in purpose. Establish you in stability. As this chapter unfolds, resist the urge to overanalyze every detail. Some things will make sense only in hindsight. Trust the trajectory. Archangel Michael speaks one final word over you in this moment. Advance without fear. You are not stepping into uncertainty alone. You are stepping into territory that has already been cleared. What unfolds next will confirm beyond doubt that every delay was strategic. Continue forward with courage, because the manifestation is no longer distant. It is active. Awakened one, you are no longer waiting for a breakthrough. You are living inside it. The shift that once felt distant is now tangible. You can sense it in the way you think, in the way you respond, in the way opportunities are arranging themselves around you. This is not coincidence. This is culmination. God broke every block that stopped this message from reaching you because the timing of your awareness was critical. If you had stepped into the season without understanding what was happening, you might have mishandled it. But now, you recognize the weight of it. Archangel Michael speaks with authority in this hour. This is not a temporary uplift. This is a permanent transition. There is something different about this blessing. It is not chaotic. It is not rushed. It is steady. It carries peace even when it stretches you. That peace is your confirmation. But here is the deeper revelation. The real miracle is not just what is happening around you. It is what has happened within you. You are no longer reacting from wounds. You are responding from wisdom. You are no longer chasing what looks impressive. You are choosing what feels aligned. That transformation is the true evidence that you are ready. There was a time when you would have rushed this moment. You would have announced it prematurely. You would have sought validation to feel secure in it. But now, you are quieter, more focused, more grounded. Archangel Michael declares, maturity has unlocked access. Do you understand what that means? It means the key was never missing. It was developing in your character. The blocks that once stood in front of you were not only external obstacles. Some of them were internal immaturities. Some were emotional patterns. Some were fears that needed to be confronted. You confronted them. Not perfectly, not quickly, but faithfully. And now the atmosphere has shifted in your favor. You may begin to notice confirmation coming from unexpected places. A person may affirm something you have been sensing. An opportunity may arrive that mirrors a prayer you whispered months ago. A door may open in a way that feels almost effortless compared to past struggles. Do not dismiss these as small. Small confirmations are seeds of larger manifestations. Archangel Michael says, protect the seed. This is a sacred instruction. What is unfolding may still be in early stages. Do not expose it to unnecessary criticism. Do not share it with those who cannot celebrate it. Allow it to strengthen before you publicize it. At the same time, do not let fear silence your progress. There is a balance between protection and boldness. You are being taught both. Another layer of this shift involves your identity. You are stepping into a version of yourself that once felt distant, confident, stable, purpose-driven. You may feel unfamiliar in this new confidence at first. That is normal. Growth feels unfamiliar before it feels natural. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian over your transition, reminding you that discomfort does not mean misalignment. It means expansion. There may still be moments when old thoughts try to return. Thoughts that question your worth. Thoughts that replay past failures. But those thoughts do not have authority anymore. You are not who you were when the delay began. The version of you that stands here now has endured refining fire. That refining removed insecurity. It removed dependence on external approval. It removed desperation. What remains is clarity. Clarity is powerful because it eliminates wasted movement. You are no longer scattering your energy in multiple directions. You are focusing on what aligns. That focus will accelerate progress in ways you cannot yet measure. Archangel Michael speaks firmly. Advance with intention. This is not the time to drift. This is the time to build. Build discipline. Build structure. Build consistency around what is finally here. The blessing is not fragile, but it does require stewardship. As you step deeper into this new chapter, remember why this message had to reach you. Awareness prevents sabotage. Understanding prevents fear. Alignment prevents delay from repeating. You are no longer blocked. You are positioned. If this confirms what your spirit has already been sensing, type "I step forward" in the comments right now. Blessing code 8181 has just been activated over your path. And as you step forward, understand this. When you sow into a word that is transforming you, you become part of its expansion. Scripture declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." That is not a distant promise. It is God speaking into this very moment. If this message has cleared confusion or strengthened your faith, respond prophetically. You super thanks. Join the membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description. Say within your heart, "I am fueling the harvest." Your giving becomes seed that multiplies light in places still surrounded by delay. Those who release seed in obedience step into cycles of increase. Activate your seed now and move in alignment with what heaven is accelerating through you. The transition is no longer theoretical. It is active. And what unfolds from here will confirm that this season was always written for you. Courageous heart. You have crossed a line in the spirit that you cannot uncross. The old season cannot reclaim you. The delay that once defined your rhythm no longer has authority over your pace. What was broken has been broken permanently. What was cleared has been cleared intentionally. And what is finally here is not a preview. It is possession. There is a difference between visiting a promise and inhabiting it. You are no longer visiting. You are settling in. God did not break every block that stopped this message from reaching you so you could doubt the arrival. He broke those blocks because the arrival was scheduled. Archangel Michael has not been standing guard over your life for temporary relief. He has been guarding a transition point. And this is that point. You may notice something unusual happening within you. The urgency that once felt frantic has become focused. The desperation that once fueled your prayers has become confidence. You are no longer pleading. You are aligning. Archangel Michael speaks with clarity. Walk as one who has been authorized. Authorization changes posture. It changes tone. It changes movement. When you know something is yours, you do not chase it anxiously. You approach it steadily. This is why your reactions are different now. Situations that once would have shaken you are now manageable. Opinions that once would have discouraged you now feel irrelevant. You are not numb. You are anchored. Anchoring is a sign of establishment. But listen carefully. Establishment does not mean the absence of challenge. It means challenges no longer define the outcome. There may still be adjustments ahead. You may still need to refine strategies. You may still encounter moments that test your discipline. But those moments are no longer threats to your destiny. They are tools for sharpening it. Archangel Michael declares, resistance has lost its grip. You will feel this in subtle ways. Doors that once required intense effort may now open with less strain. Conversations that once felt tense may now flow naturally. Resources that once seemed unavailable may suddenly appear within reach. Do not attribute this to luck. This is alignment meeting timing. However, there is a responsibility attached to possession. When something is finally yours, you must maintain it with integrity. Integrity in your words. Integrity in your decisions. Integrity in your private life. The delay taught you endurance. This new season will teach you stewardship. Stewardship requires awareness. It requires discipline. It requires consistency when emotions fluctuate. You cannot operate only when you feel inspired. You must operate when you feel committed. Commitment is the difference between a moment and a legacy. Archangel Michael says, build with patience. There will be temptation to accelerate beyond wisdom. When progress begins, excitement can lead to overextension. Guard against that. Growth must be sustainable. Sustainable growth is intentional. It values structure. It respects process. It understands that even divine blessings unfold in stages. Some of you will see financial improvement. Some of you will see relational restoration. Some of you will see professional elevation. But whatever form it takes, remember that this is not random increase. It is purposeful placement. You are being positioned where your influence can expand. Influence is not about visibility alone. It is about impact. It is about the way your presence shifts environments. The way your words carry weight. The way your decisions affect others. The delay prepared you for this influence by teaching you humility. You remember what it felt like to be overlooked. You remember what it felt like to wait. That memory will keep you compassionate as you rise. Archangel Michael stands as a reminder that elevation is safest when paired with gratitude. Never forget where you started. Not to dwell in it, but to appreciate the distance traveled. And as you settle into this new rhythm, expect confirmation to continue. Expect clarity to deepen. Expect favor to become more consistent. What was once rare will become normal. That may be the most surprising part. You will begin to experience stability where there was once instability. You will begin to experience peace where there was once chaos. You will begin to experience momentum where there was once stagnation. And at first, it may feel almost unfamiliar. Allow yourself to adapt to stability. Do not search for problems where there are none. Do not create drama out of habit. Let peace remain. Archangel Michael speaks one more truth into your spirit. You are not stepping into something fragile. You are stepping into something established. Trust that establishment. Continue forward with discipline. Continue forward with gratitude. Continue forward with courage. Because what unfolds next will not only confirm that the blocks were broken, it will reveal why they had to stand until you were ready to carry what was always yours. Determined one, there is a moment in every divine journey when realization settles in fully. Not just excitement, not just relief, but realization. You are in that moment now. The truth is becoming undeniable. What was delayed has arrived, and it did not arrive by accident. God broke every block that stopped this message from reaching you because hesitation at this stage would have cost you alignment. Awareness was necessary. Cooperation was necessary. And now movement is necessary. Archangel Michael speaks with strength. You not slow down now. This does not mean rush carelessly. It means remain consistent. Remain intentional. Remain focused. The temptation at this level is subtle. After a breakthrough, people often relax their discipline. They assume the hardest part is over. But breakthrough is not the finish line. It is the starting line of responsibility. You prayed for change. Now you must sustain it. You asked for growth. Now you must nurture it. You desired elevation. Now you must steward it. The difference between a temporary shift and a lasting transformation is daily commitment. What you do repeatedly from this point forward will determine the stability of what has arrived. Archangel Michael declares, establish patterns that protect your promise. Patterns are powerful. During the delay, certain habits help you survive. Now, new habits must help you build. That may mean waking up earlier. That may mean investing time into learning. That may mean setting boundaries you once avoided. That may mean saying no to distractions that once felt harmless. The blessing that is finally here deserves structure. You are not being asked to strive. You are being asked to steward. There is also something else happening that you must recognize. Influence is increasing around you. People are watching how you handle this shift. Some are inspired. Some are curious. Some are skeptical. Your response matters. Do not let pride creep in. Do not let insecurity resurface. Stay balanced. Stay grounded. Stay grateful. Archangel Michael reminds you, humility will sustain what favor has opened. Favor opens doors. Character keeps them open. If this message has been guiding you step by step through this transition, take a moment right now to actively support this movement. Like this video so it reaches others who are still in their waiting season. Share it with someone who needs to hear that their delay is not denial. Comment how this shift is showing up in your life. Subscribe if you have not already, and become part of this growing community. Join the membership to receive deeper prophetic encouragement. When you engage, you help amplify a word that is breaking blocks for people across the world. And stay with this message closely, because what is about to be revealed next connects everything you have walked through. Now listen carefully. There is one final internal shift that must occur. You must stop seeing yourself as someone who always missed it. You did not always miss it. You were perfectly positioned for it. The enemy tried to convince you that you were late, that others were ahead, that you had wasted time. But timing in God's plan is not measured by comparison. It is measured by readiness. Archangel Michael speaks firmly. Release comparison. Comparison will poison gratitude. Comparison will distort perspective. Comparison will make you question blessings that were designed specifically for you. What is yours does not need to look like someone else's journey. You are walking a path carved uniquely for you. The delays, the lessons, the growth, they were tailored to shape your capacity. And now capacity meets opportunity. You may notice that decisions feel clearer. That hesitation fades faster. That your voice carries more conviction. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. Alignment feels steady. There will still be challenges ahead, but they will not feel like blockages. They will feel like assignments. Asks to complete. Skills to sharpen. Areas to strengthen. That is a different mindset entirely. You are no longer fighting to break through. You are building forward. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this construction phase of your life. You are building stability where there was once uncertainty. You are building confidence where there was once doubt. You are building momentum where there was once stagnation. This is not a temporary season of excitement. This is a long-term establishment. Continue showing up. Continue honoring the opportunity. Continue protecting your peace. Because what unfolds next will not only confirm that this was always yours, it will reveal how far-reaching this blessing truly is. Stay steady. The final revelation is approaching. Faithful warrior, you have come too far to doubt the process now. Look at how everything has unfolded. The resistance that once surrounded you is gone. The confusion that once clouded your vision has cleared. The hesitation that once slowed your steps has dissolved. You are not standing in hope anymore. You are standing in manifestation. God did not break every block that stopped this message from reaching you just to bring you this far and leave you uncertain. He broke those blocks because a defining chapter has begun. And this chapter is not about survival. It is about establishment. Archangel Michael speaks with authority over this season. Stand rooted. Rooted means unshaken. It means steady when opinions shift. It means grounded when emotions fluctuate. It means confident even when external validation is absent. You are entering a phase where stability will become your new normal. For a long time, instability trained you and taught you how to adapt quickly. It taught you resilience. It taught you how to endure. But instability was never your permanent home. Stability is. This may feel unfamiliar at first. When life has conditioned you to expect delays, you may instinctively prepare for disruption. You may look around waiting for something to go wrong. You may brace yourself for sudden setbacks. Release the posture. Archangel Michael declares, you are covered. Covered does not mean exempt from effort. It means protected from sabotage. It means guarded from interference that once had access to you. The season of constant obstruction has ended. Now comes the season of refinement within blessing. There is still growth ahead, but it is different growth. It is no longer about breaking through barriers. It is about strengthening what has already broken through. You will notice that your conversations are changing. The topics that interest you are evolving. The way you evaluate opportunities is more mature. You are thinking long-term. You are considering legacy, not just moments. That is establishment. What was always yours was never meant to be temporary excitement. It was meant to become foundation. Foundation for future opportunities. Foundation for influence. Foundation for peace. Archangel Michael reminds you, protect your foundation. Do not neglect the spiritual disciplines that sustain you during the delay. Continue praying. Continue reflecting. Continue expressing gratitude. Success without spiritual grounding becomes unstable, but success with grounding becomes unshakable. You may also begin to recognize that your voice carries new authority. When you speak, people listen differently. When you decide, doors respond differently. That is not coincidence. That is elevation. Elevation does not mean you are better than anyone. It means you have been entrusted with greater responsibility. Responsibility will require consistency. It will require boundaries. It will require discernment in relationships and commitments. Not every opportunity is aligned, even in a season of blessing. Wisdom must guide you. Archangel Michael speaks clearly. Discernment will protect acceleration. Acceleration is happening. You may feel it in soul momentum. Tasks that once took months now move in weeks. Conversations that once stalled now progress smoothly. Ideas that once felt distant now feel actionable. Do not rush this acceleration recklessly. Let it unfold at a sustainable pace. There is also a healing element in this stage. You may begin to realize that wounds you once carried no longer define you. Situations that once triggered pain now feel neutral. That is evidence that the delay accomplished its work. You are healed enough to handle increase. That may be the greatest confirmation of all. Because if what was always yours had arrived before healing, it could have magnified your wounds. And now, it will magnify your wisdom. Archangel Michael stands not only as a warrior, but as a witness to your transformation. You are not the same person who first heard the promise. You are refined, strengthened, clarified, and now you are ready to carry what has arrived without fear of losing it. The final step in this transition is internal acceptance. Fully accept that this is your season. Fully accept that you are prepared. Fully accept that the blocks are gone. Stop looking back to confirm what has already shifted. Stop rehearsing old fears. Stop bracing for old patterns. This chapter is different. You have stepped into what was preserved for you. Continue forward with steady faith. Continue building with quiet confidence. Continue honoring the opportunity placed in your hands. Because what comes next will seal this journey with clarity and completion. And you will see clearly why every delay, every lesson, every moment of waiting was guiding you to this exact point of fulfillment. Beloved heir, this is the moment where everything connects. The delays, the silence, the confusion, the unexpected detours. None of it was random. None of it was wasted. And none of it was meant to break you. It was meant to build you for this exact arrival. God broke every block that stopped this message from reaching you because this was a divine appointment. Not just information. Not just encouragement. But activation. Archangel Michael has stood watch over your journey from the beginning of this process. Through nights when you questioned your worth. Through days when doors would not open. Through seasons when you felt unseen and unheard. And now he declares, it is established. Let that sink into your spirit. It is established. What was always yours has now crossed from promise into possession. From hope into reality. From prayer into manifestation. This does not mean challenges will never appear again. It means challenges no longer have authority over your outcome. You are no longer fighting for access. You are walking in it. You have matured into your inheritance. There was a version of you that wanted the blessing quickly. But this version of you can carry it wisely. That is the difference. That is why timing mattered. That is why blocks were allowed before they were broken. Because if it had come too early, it would have overwhelmed you. If it had come too easily, it would not have been valued. Now you understand its weight. Archangel Michael speaks one final instruction over you. Remain aligned. Alignment is your protection. Alignment is your peace. Alignment is your power. Stay aligned with truth. Stay aligned with discipline. Stay aligned with gratitude. The same obedience that brought you here will keep you here. And hear this clearly. You did not almost miss it. You were never forgotten. You were never disqualified. You were being prepared. Preparation is proof of intention. God intended for you to walk in this. God intended for you to experience this. God intended for you to rise into this level of clarity and stability. The blocks were never permanent barriers. They were temporary filters. Filters that removed what could not go with you. Filters that strengthened your foundation. Filters that ensured when this arrived, you would not sabotage it. And now look at you. Calmer. Stronger. More discerning. More confident. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into order. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into confirmation. Archangel Michael stands as a witness that what is finally here was always yours. So walk forward without apology. Build without fear. Receive without hesitation. Because this is not just a breakthrough. It is establishment. If this message has confirmed what your spirit hath been sensing, type IT is established in the comments right now. Blessing code 1212 has just been released over your life. And as this journey seals, understand something powerful. When you sow into a word that activates your destiny, you are partnering with heaven's assignment. The Lord declares, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy. This is not history. This is Him speaking into your now. If this message broke blocks in your life, let your response break blocks for someone else. You super thanks. Step into membership or release your seed through the PayPal link in the description. Say within your heart, I am building the altar of impact. Your giving becomes oil that keeps this flame burning, light that pierces delay in other lives. Those who act in obedience during divine moments step into multiplied harvests. Move now. Seal your agreement. And watch how heaven responds to your faith-filled action.